Actually, I forgot to switch on the record mode. So I'll just recapitulate what I said once more. So from what I said so far, you get the idea that there are several aspects of a language which you take into consideration while looking at how it changed character. So one of them is, of course, vocabulary. The key, for many people, the key element in any language, key aspect of any language. And that's what we recognize a language by its vocabulary, mostly. Because the lexis actually covers everything. Okay. The connecting words or grammatical words are often not properly heard at all. Whereas you prominently hear the lexis. Lexis, then of course grammar. How words are put together. How words are connected. What are the properties of a word? What properties does it carry? Is it gendered? Whether a noun is gendered, whether an adjective is gendered, whether an adverb is gendered, whether an article is gendered. All these are questions which are important. Okay. So the properties of words, classes of words, how words are put together, what is the word order, subject, object, verb, or subject, verb, object, whatever word order that exists in a language. What are the restrictions for putting one word next to another? Okay, so this I think you know. In English, the adjective comes before the noun. Okay, you say good news. Is there any good news? Yes, there are some good news, you say. So we have French has a different word order. In French, the noun comes first and then you have the adjective. Advocate general, it is still used. The Norman or French way of ordering words is still used in some cases. Okay. So a very common word like girlfriend. Now it's one word, girlfriend or boyfriend. So at one time they were different words. And I met a French woman. Not French actually. She's partly Indian, a Franco-Indian woman, settled in France, who spoke French, but who can manage some English. So she was speaking to me about a cousin of hers, who was for whom marriage was contemplated. Sorry. Yeah. Whom marriage was contemplated. So she wanted to know if he had any girlfriends. So, but the way she asked was this. She asked me, does he have any friend girls? By which she meant, does he have any girlfriends? So the word order, how one word is put before or after another. This is one thing. How the properties of words, how they are ordered in a logical sequence, a syntactical sequence in a sentence. Okay. Pronunciation, as I said. Yeah, that is where I stopped. So in pronunciation, the pronunciation of a word changes across the ages. So if you won't believe me if I say that in Shakespeare's time, the word time, T-I-M-E, was pronounced time. Yeah, can you imagine? The E was not silent. Okay. And the I was pronounced as a long E. So time, time. Okay. Many other words were pronounced, and Chaucer, for example, instead of showers, you pronounce it as shores. The diphthong "ow" was probably not much used in those times. The pronunciation definitely is another property of languages which change from time to time. Okay. In Malayalam also, you know that. Okay. How pronunciation changes. How, for example, words get compressed. Okay. You don't say Chelampura. Instead, you compress this and you say Chelambra, as you come to the university, Chelambra, or Panambra, or Perambra. Okay. And so many other words, common words in Malayalam, have changed their pronunciation over a period of time. Okay. Either the vowel has been shortened, vowel has been lengthened, the certain words have not been pronounced properly. Certain words have different pronunciations from what they originally had, etc. So in English also this is happening. A number of words have changed their pronunciation, and therefore, if you are examining words, if you are examining individual words, you find that even to recognize that this particular word is gendered in a particular way. So, God, meaning good in Old English, but Goda when the word is plural. Okay. So when you know that this a is a suffix to indicate plurality, you know that this change to this long R disappeared, so that we only have one adjective today, good, for masculine, feminine, plural, singular, everything. So the change of pronunciation is another aspect of language, but from the point of view of history, ചരിത്രമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എടുത്ത് പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് അത്ര വലിയൊരു സംഭവമല്ല. Okay. Historically, it's not, but the other thing is more important. The syntax or the grammar of the language, probably the most important thing to indicate how the language changes. Okay. Yeah, we also have morphology. We found that English today does not permit a large number of words to come together as compounds. But you can't do that. Okay. But in the Old English period, it was possible. In the Middle English period, less. Okay. So now one of the important, effects of the Norman conquest was the reduction in the number of compounds or the decreasing length of compounds. അത്ര കൂട്ടാൻ പറ്റില്ല, രണ്ടോ മൂന്നോ ഒക്കെ കഷ്ടിച്ച് എടുക്കാം എന്നല്ലാതെ you can't have more than that number of words. Okay. And the increasing use of prepositions, which is another grammatical property. Okay. You can have words in isolation connected to other words by using prepositions, or you can connect words by using inflection. Okay. So the off construction is the use of preposition. Okay. The Church of England, you can, if you say England's church, what you are doing is you are using an apostrophe s construction, inflection, genitive inflection it's called. So all these are properties. All these are properties of languages which are important from a historical point of view. Okay. And finally, semantics. What is semantics? Semantics is the analysis or the mechanism of meaning, how meaning is constituted. Okay. Again, it doesn't play much of a role in the history of a language except for purely for academic interest. Okay. So we know that politician, the sense that it has today, the pejorative sense that it has today, can also be found in Shakespeare's time. In Shakespeare's plays, you have this expression, you are a politician. Okay. So this pejorative sense can be traced to Shakespeare's time. Okay. Shakespeare's use of the word politician to indicate this kind of pejorative sense. Okay. Then in the 17th and 18th century, you don't find it much in use. Sense is disappearing, it has come back. Kind of pejorative sense. Okay. Then in the 17th and 18th century, you don't find it much in use. Sense is disappearing, it has come back again. So semantics. Okay. Uh, uh, very few people know that idiot, common word today, originally meant a government servant, or salary meant salt, because salt was very costly. Probably it was given as salary. So many words in the language. The sense that we today have for them. Okay, uncle, for example. Okay. It's in our common usage. We use this term respectfully, uncle. But in Shakespeare's time, it was used for to indicate any old man. Okay. അങ്കിൾ ഇപ്പൊ മലയാളത്തിൽ ഇപ്പൊ തന്ത എന്ന് ചിലയിടത്ത് പ്രയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് ഒരു തന്തയല്ലേ എന്ന് നോട്ട് പെജറേറ്റീവ്ലി ബട്ട് ടു ജനറലി ഇൻഡിക്കേറ്റ് ഓൾഡ് പീപ്പിൾ സോ this sense of the word has disappeared from the language. We no longer use the word uncle to indicate or to speak to people or to indicate people in this sense. വയസ്സായ ഒരാളാണെന്നുള്ള നിലയ്ക്ക് അല്ല ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. In some cultures like ours, we borrowing it from English, we use it to show respect. Okay, so many. But if you only got to read some of Shakespeare's works, okay, which are comprehensible to us, to find out how the meaning of words change. You have a whole chapter on that in A.C. Boss' book, History of English. You find that the word box, for example, it is used for a container made of any material. It can be metal, it can be wood, it can be leather, anything. But at one time, it was used only for a container made from a tree called the box tree. A box was simply a container made from box tree. So there are a number of parameters for change. You'll learn about it later. How words undergo change. For example, you don't use the word toilet today commonly. You use washroom. Okay, which is considered to be a more polite way of using it. So several words change their character through this process called what is it? Euphemism. Okay, you don't say die, you say pass away or expire, etc. All these are ways in which the meanings of words change. Generalization. Box was originally a container made from the box tree. Okay, now you have all kinds of boxes. The term is generalized. Term can also be particularized. Okay. For example, what is the word? It used to indicate fowl, for example, F-O-W-L, originally indicating any type of bird. Now you use it for only certain birds. Parliament of Fowls in Chaucer's, one of Chaucer's collection of a long poem. Fowls here means birds. So on. So a number of ways in which words change their meaning. This is also part of linguistic change. Okay. So of these changes, I would call the changes in grammar the most important. This is how, because vocabulary ultimately depends upon the availability of words. നമുക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലെ പല വാക്കുകളും ഇല്ല, അപ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ what we are doing is we are borrowing words simply from English, using them profusely. ധാരാളമായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നു. No problem there. It somehow compensates for the absence or lack of words in Malayalam. So vocabulary is simply the addition of words, changing or the existence of one set of words besides another. Okay, മലയാളത്തിലുണ്ടല്ലോ വീട് എന്ന് പറയാം, പുര എന്ന് പറയാം, ഗൃഹം എന്ന് പറയാം, വസതി എന്ന് പറയാം. All these words are used. Okay, some words, and over a period of time, they change their character also. So, for example, thief and robber. Robber is nomen French. Thief is, I believe, Anglo-Saxon. Okay. So one term is used for a certain kind of activity. Okay. വീട് കൊള്ളയടിക്കുന്ന ആൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബാങ്ക് കൊള്ളയടിക്കുന്നതിന് you call it rob. Okay. You don't call it steal. Stealing is a simpler activity which a thief does. Okay. Robbing is a more complicated activity which a robber does. Highway robber. Okay. And now you have other terms like swindle. Okay. തട്ടിപ്പ് നടത്തുക. അതും കളവ് തന്നെയാണ്. Swindling a bank. വ്യാജ രേഖകളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട്. Not robbing a bank at the point of a gun, but swindling it. Yeah. So when you get new words, what happens is sometimes their meanings change, so that they become slightly different in meaning. ഇത്തരത്തിലാണ് we are looking at the changes that have come over that came over in Middle English from the Old English period. Okay. Now, just a few more things. I can leave the session open for questions. And then in the model this, and only then it makes sense. Online classes like this. I mean, all these pieces of information you can get elsewhere. I'm only simply indicating where you can get this piece of information. All right. I think a couple of things more I'll discuss today, and then leave the session open for questions. Bible translation. Yes. Yes. An important topic. I think I started off with Bible translation. How the Bible began to be accessible to the people. Because originally it was in Latin. Few people could read it. Only the clergy, the church, the pastor, the parish priest, the vicar could read the Bible. Because only he had some training in Latin at the seminary, so they could read the Bible. Not the common people. So one of the intentions of behind the translation of the Bible was to make the book accessible to the people, and therefore prevent, do away with this kind of bondage to the clergy. നമുക്കറിയുന്ന ഒരു ഭാഷയിൽ ഇത് കിട്ടിയാലാണ് നമുക്കത് മനസ്സിലാവും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കാര്യമില്ല. അപ്പോൾ to understand the Bible would mean also to analyze it, and which probably would be detrimental to the interests of the established churches, which is why the church at first tried to prevent the translation of the Bible. So the translation of the Bible also has something to do with the rise of nationalism. Latin was the official language of the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church was spread throughout Europe, the length and breadth of Europe. അപ്പോൾ സെമിനാരിയിൽ വായിക്കുന്ന ഈ ലത്തീനിലുള്ള ബൈബിള് അത് പിന്നെ പ്രീസ്റ്റ് കുഡ് റീഡ് ഇറ്റ് എവ്രിവെയർ, ഇംഗ്ലണ്ടിലായാലും ഫ്രാൻസിലായാലും ജർമ്മനിയിലായാലും. അപ്പോൾ ഓൾ ദീസ് കൺട്രീസ് ഹാഡ് ട്രെയിൻഡ് priests who could read the Bible, but not the people. So the people in neither Germany nor England, nor in France, nor in Spain could understand the Bible, because it was not in their first language or mother tongue. The attempts to translate the Bible meant two things. One is to make it accessible to the common people as a revolt against the established church. Okay. Two, it was also to establish the Bible as one of the pillars of the rising nation state. അപ്പോൾ ബൈബിൾ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാകുന്നതിലൂടെ തന്നെ അത് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ആളുകൾക്ക് കൂടുതൽ ഭാഷാബോധം ഉണ്ടാവും. So these two things go together. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് the translation of the Bible into Latin was the result of the Roman Empire adopting Christianity. That happened in the 4th century. Dionysian was the first Roman emperor who adopted Christianity as the state religion. When in his empire, they needed a Bible translated into Latin. Well, when the church was established in Rome. അപ്പോൾ അവിടുത്തെ ഭാഷയായി ബൈബിളിന്റെ ഭാഷ. And then stray attempts to translate the Bible were done in parts of Europe. For example, in certain parts of Eastern Europe, where a Germanic language called Gothic, Gothic, was spoken. So we have a 4th century translation, Gothic translation of the Bible. After the 4th century, we know that Europe went through a period called the medieval period, Middle Ages, sometimes called the Dark Ages, okay, where knowledge declined, okay, where towns declined, where economic activity declined. All attempts to translate the Bible stopped because the people's language had very little connection with what was happening in the church. It was simply a ritual. Same thing that is happening to Quran, for example. Still, പ്രാർത്ഥനകളൊന്നും മലയാളത്തിലായിട്ടില്ല. It's still in Arabic. Okay, although people know the meaning of certain sentences. So the process which Christianity underwent in the 15th and 16th century is yet to happen to Islam in the world. It might happen, yes, very soon. What I'm trying to say is that the attempt to translate the Bible had this twofold intention. രണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശങ്ങൾ അതിനകത്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഒന്ന്, to aid the rising nationalist spirit in Europe. Two, to make Christianity more people friendly, right? To make the Bible more accessible to the people. Okay. So you find that by the 16th century, you have translations of the Bible available in all the major European languages: English, French, Spanish, German, Russian. Number of languages have translations of the Bible available. So the history of translating the Bible is also a history of transforming the church, okay, of aiding the rise of national languages, what used to be called vernaculars. The Roman Empire used the term vernacular. Verna means slave. So that's not a good word when you say vernacular languages. Verna means slave. So these languages were the languages of slaves of the Roman Empire. Okay, people almost stopped using the word, except in history books. You don't. Instead you find words like regional languages, national languages, etc. All right. So Wycliffe, John Wycliffe, the 14th century translator of the Bible, was also an important activist, okay, within the church, who stood for reform of the church. And he was associated with the Peasants' Revolt of 1381. അങ്ങനെ സംഭവം ബ്രിട്ടനിലുണ്ടായി. കർഷക കലാപം. The rise of the peasants and middle farmers. അതായത് വയലിൽ പണിയെടുക്കുന്ന കർഷക തൊഴിലാളികളെക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ അതിന് പങ്കുണ്ടായിരുന്നത് ഇടത്തരം കൃഷിക്കാർക്കും കുടിയാന്മാർക്കും, tenants. So the revolt also questioned the hierarchy of the church. The church, the rebels found, was on the side of the king. കലാപത്തിന് നേതൃത്വം കൊടുത്തവർ മനസ്സിലാക്കി. So they also wanted to reform the church. So they drew inspiration from the Bible itself. And one of the rebels, a poet's son, when Adam delved and Eve spun, who was then the gentleman? What he was trying to say was, in the Garden of Eden, where there were only two people, Adam and Eve. There were no landlords, no tenants, no slaves, no kings. That was a time of equality. Adam delved. Delve means to cultivate the land. മണ്ണ് കളച്ചു. Eve spun. നൂല് നോറ്റു. She weaved or stitched. These were the two primal occupations. Tilling the soil, stitching clothes. ഇതൊക്കെ ചെയ്ത കാലത്ത് അങ്ങനെ തമ്പുരാക്കന്മാരുണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്നാണ് ഈ പാട്ട് പാടിയ ആൾക്കാർ ചോദിച്ചത്. So Wycliffe was one of their mentors. Okay. So Wycliffe's translation aimed at bringing the Bible to the people. Okay. The revolt was crushed. The king restored his power in Britain. But things were changing. Okay. There were rebel Christian groups called Lollards, Lollards. Wycliffe was a Lollard. Okay. And other groups like Ranters, Levelers, Levellers. Okay. The name itself shows what they were doing. To level things. To reduce the up and downs to a plane. Okay. ഉയർച്ച താഴ്ചകളില്ല, ജന്മിയും കുടിയാനും അടിമയൊന്നുമില്ല. All were equal before God. That's what the levelers said. So the translation of the Bible began with these two twin motives in mind. And then throughout the next 2 centuries, you find a number of translations of the Bible. At least 4 or 5 major translations. Okay. The Geneva Bible, Purvey's Bible. Okay. Finally, the Bible of 1611, called the Authorized Version, or the King James Bible, 1611. 17ാം നൂറ്റാണ്ടിലാണ് ഈ ബൈബിൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത്. 1611. അപ്പോൾ authorized by King James. That became the established Bible of the Anglican Church. You must remember that in 1530, most of the English people had separated themselves from the Roman Catholic Church by forming another church called the Anglican Church, originally founded by King Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth's father. റോമുമായിട്ട് തെറ്റിപ്പിരിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വേറെ തന്നെ ഒരു സഭ ഉണ്ടാക്കി. ഈ സഭയുടെ ഔദ്യോഗിക ബൈബിളായിരുന്നു Authorized Version, commissioned by the king in 1605, completed in 1611. 1611. ഈ ബൈബിളാണ് ഇന്നും ആംഗ്ലിക്കൻ ചർച്ച് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. It's still, you can find a copy in many English homes. ഈ ബൈബിളിന്റെ പ്രത്യേകത എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, this Bible became the repository of the, in one sense, the repository of the English language. ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ the major source of colorful expressions in the English language. You only got to look up any description of the Authorized Version to find this. Okay. നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന പല വാക്കുകൾ, ദി ആപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് ദി ഐ, കണ്ണിലുണ്ണി എന്നറിയില്ല, അത് ബൈബിളിൽ നിർത്താം. ഓക്കെ. ദി ഫാറ്റഡ് കാഫ്, അത്ര നമുക്കറിയില്ല, എന്നാലും ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ, ഇപ്പൊ മുടിയനായ പുത്രന്റെ കഥയുണ്ട്, സ്റ്റോറി ഓഫ് ദ പ്രോഡിഗൽ സൺ. How a son actually virtually squandered all his property. അച്ഛൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് നിന്ന് സ്വത്ത് ഭാഗം വാങ്ങിപ്പോയി, അതൊക്കെ നശിപ്പിച്ചിട്ട് മടങ്ങിയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അച്ഛൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? സ്വീകരിച്ചു. He slaughtered a fatted calf എന്നാണ്, കൊഴുപ്പിച്ച കാളക്കുട്ടി. ഈ fatted calf as an expression is still used in English, although it is not very modern. നമുക്കറിയാം 17ാം നൂറ്റാണ്ട് തുടക്കത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു പ്രയോഗമാണ്. ഇന്ന് there is also what is called a New English Bible, NEB. അമേരിക്കയിലാണ് ആദ്യം അച്ചടിച്ചത്, which is different from this authorized version. ഇതുപോലുള്ള വാക്കുകളൊക്കെ അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് നിന്ന് മാറ്റിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. So instead of fatted calf, you find the expression prize calf. അതായത് നല്ല ഏറ്റവും മുന്തിയ കാളക്കുട്ടി എന്നർത്ഥം വരും. പ്രൈസ്, PRIZE, ബെസ്റ്റ് ഓർ വെരി ഗുഡ്, എക്സലന്റ്. അപ്പൊ അത് ആ വാക്കാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത് ഇൻസ്റ്റെഡ് ഓഫ് ഫാറ്റഡ്, കൊഴുപ്പിച്ച. അപ്പൊ ബൈബിളിന്റെ സ്വാധീനം നന്നായിട്ട് കാണാം ഭാഷ. വെരി പെർവേസീവ് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്. ഷേക്സ്പിയറിന്റെ നോവലൊക്കെ എടുത്ത് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് കാണാം. ഓക്കെ, hoist with his own petard, the expression which Shakespeare used in which play? Hamlet. Okay, അതായത് താൻ കുഴിച്ച കുഴിയിൽ താൻ തന്നെ വീഴുക, മലയാളത്തിലുണ്ടല്ലോ. To hoist with his own petard. മറ്റുള്ളവരെ പൊക്കാൻ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന വടി കൊണ്ട് തന്നെ സ്വയം പൊങ്ങി എവിടെങ്കിലും പോയി വീഴുക എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിൽ. All these are expressions which are used in English, which are originally found in the Bible. Okay, the word expressions: help meet, HELPMATE. Okay. Sahai in the originally used in the Bible. In the Bible, it is used as help meet, MEET. Meet means suitable. Not artha. It has been changed into helpmate. Sahai. ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന your partner in marriage. ഭാര്യ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഭർത്താവ് എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിലാണ് helpmate ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. So you just got to look at a list of words which are used in the Bible, which you find in the authorized version, which has become common stock of the English language today. Very frequently used in literature. സാഹിത്യത്തിലാണ് ഏറ്റവും അധികം ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത് ബൈബിളിലെ പ്രയോഗങ്ങൾ. Okay. For example, the seventh heaven. Okay. നമ്മള് എന്താ പറയുക, സന്തോഷത്തിന്റെ അങ്ങേയറ്റത്തെത്തി എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് യൂസ് ഹി വാസ് ഇൻ ദ സെവൻത് ഹെവൻ. ഓക്കെ, അത് ബൈബിളിലുള്ള, അതായത് 7 ആകാശങ്ങളുണ്ടെന്നാണ്, 7ാം ആകാശം മലയാളത്തിൽ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. സെയിം ഇസ് ദ കേസ് വിത്ത് മലയാളം. മലയാളത്തിലും ബൈബിളിലെ ഒരുപാട് വാചകങ്ങൾ എടുത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. Although not as much as you do in English. So I think there's one more topic left, that is printing. Adu pradhanam, because Chaucer's Canterbury Tales was one of the first books to be printed. ഇത് എപ്പോഴാണ് വരുന്നത്? Printing does not come to England till 1467 or 1492. The person who brought this into England was called William Caxton. And Caxton was incidentally responsible for the transformation of Middle English into modern English. എങ്ങനെയാണത്? Because Middle English did not have, although the court used one particular dialect called the East Midland dialect. There are 4 or 5 dialects of Middle English. And because of the influence of the court, London, the East Midland dialect became the most prominent one. Chaucer ഉപയോഗിച്ചതാണ്. Canterbury Tales is written in the East Midland dialect. Whereas another well-known poem, Piers the Plowman, I think you are doing it, Piers Plowman, Plowman, by William Langland, was written in the West Midland dialect. These are 2 different dialects, East Midland dialect and West Midland. East Midland dialect was the most prominent one. It is from this dialect that modern English is derived. Okay, but you must remember that although the East Midland dialect was more powerful, it was actually the vehicle of the English language, English literature, okay, English nationalism during the Middle English period, other dialects were also used. അത് ഇന്നും ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. And if you go to Britain, sometime in your life you have a chance to go to Britain, വെറുതെ ലണ്ടനിലെ കാഴ്ചയൊന്നും കണ്ട് തിരിഞ്ഞ് കളിക്കാതെ, if you have a keen interest in the language, ഒരു കാർ എടുത്തിട്ട് ഒരു let us say 80 kilometers out of London, വെറും 80 kilometers. അതായത് തൃശ്ശൂരിൽ നിന്ന് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിക്ക് വരുന്ന ദൂരം ഇല്ല, less than that. Okay, so if you travel by car some 60 to 80 kilometers, you'll reach a place called Yorkshire. Okay, Yorkshire County, a small province in Britain. There you will hear people speaking very strangely. They'll say, for example, okay, thank you very much, not much, much. So one of the most common words in English is pronounced differently. So thank you very much. And if you go to some parts of Britain, you will hear expressions like close your iron. Iron means eyes. I-E-Y-E-N is still used in many parts of Britain. Instead of the Z plural, you have the N plural, iron. So what did the printer Caxton do, William Caxton? William Caxton had to make a choice from the available dialects. And of course, he chose the East Midland dialect. He not only chose the East Midland dialect, he chose, when he had to make a choice between eyes and iron, he chose eyes naturally. So Caxton was responsible for the standardization of English. And പലതായി കിടക്കുന്ന പല ഡയലക്റ്റുകളായി കിടക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ ഇടയിൽ ഇത് എല്ലാവർക്കും മനസ്സിലാവും. A dialect which everybody could understand, a form of English which everybody could understand. Caxton was responsible for that. Okay, but Caxton was also responsible for some of the bad things in English, such as spelling. So some of the spelling, okay, fine, borrowed from French and other languages, which had strange spellings, but some other spellings which are available in English were the result of his compositors, workers in his presses, being illiterate. വലിയ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം ഉണ്ടാവും. അപ്പോൾ അവർ ചില അക്ഷരങ്ങളൊക്കെ പെറുക്കി ഇങ്ങനെ വെക്കും. Okay, you know how printing was done before the digital age? അത് കണ്ട ആരെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ? Anybody? പഴയ പ്രസ് ഉണ്ടോ? ഇല്ല. പഴയ പ്രസ്സില് അക്ഷരം പെറുക്കി വെക്കുക ചെയ്യും. You have fonts, iron fonts. There are factories which produce fonts. They are called foundries. For one type of foundry. ഇരുമ്പിന്റെ ഈ അച്ചുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഷൊർണൂരൊന്നുണ്ട്. ഇതൊക്കെ അടച്ചു പൊട്ടിപ്പോയി. We only have DTP now, desktop printing. അതിലിങ്ങനെ അച്ച് നിരത്തി വെക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. You can just type on a page and then make blocks out of it. You can print it. അച്ച് നിരത്തി വെക്കുന്ന തൊഴിലാളികൾക്ക് വലിയ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. പല തെറ്റുകൾ ഇവർ വരുത്തി. So when a compositor, that's what these people are called, who align letters on the board for printing, okay, to pick up and keep letters in a row on a frame, wooden frame. They're called compositors. They made a number of mistakes which unfortunately became established in the language. ഒരു പുസ്തകം വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നൂറുകണക്കിന് ആൾക്കാർ വായിക്കും. But that becomes established in the language slowly because of the popularity of the print media. But Caxton was responsible for that also. Okay. About these are some of the ways in which you look at the changing scenario, landscape of the English language during the medieval period. അതെങ്ങനെയാണ് അതിന്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് get it from the books, articles, and the videos, which some of which are links for which I've sent you, and some others which you can easily unearth from the net. Okay, so we still have some time for interaction. You can either ask questions directly or you can type questions in the chat box. ഇത് ഉപയോഗിക്കാം, ഈ സമയം നിങ്ങൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കാം എന്തായാലും. And as I said, you can always send questions through WhatsApp, which I'll try to address. ഏത് കാര്യമാണെങ്കിലും, if you have a problem understanding any concept or any topic which comes up for discussion, please let me know. പിന്നെ നിങ്ങളോട് ഒരു വീഡിയോ അയക്കാൻ ഞാൻ ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ടിരുന്നു, അല്ലേ? അതാ somebody who I think I got one today. Srishma has sent a video. Okay. I haven't opened it. I received it today morning. On some topic, you choose a topic and record a video, which you can easily do on your phone. പറഞ്ഞു തന്നിരുന്നു എങ്ങനെയാണ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. Okay. So that I know that some work is happening. Okay. As part of your internal evaluation, 5 types of the Bible. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞോ? Did I say?
So you were saying about that Genesis Bible, then authorized version and all.
Yes. Yeah. Not types, different translations. Yes. Wycliffe was the first. John Wycliffe only partially translated. Okay. Then there was a translator called Purvey, John Purvey. Then a few other translators. There was the Geneva Bible. Then I'll check. You have just before the authorized version. Each of which has some influence. The whole list is available on Wikipedia. You have Tyndale, Tyndale, Coverdale. These are 2 translators in the 15th century. I think Tyndale is spelled Titydale, Coverdale, Covertale, then authorized version. I'm typing this in the chat box. Then New English Bible, which is very recent, produced in modern language. You have this in the chat box. Wycliffe's Bible, Purvey's Bible, Geneva Bible, Tyndale's Bible, Coverdale's Bible, authorized version, New English Bible. All these are Bible translations. Each of them different. Okay. And each had something to offer for the English language. ചില വാക്കുകളൊക്കെ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിന് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. Yes. More questions? Cholo, either directly or in the chat box. Chat box ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ പഠിക്കുന്നത് നല്ലതാണ് because you develop the habit of typing fast. പെട്ടെന്ന്. Okay. If there are no more questions, I'll wind up with this repeated instruction. A video I can. Please send the video. I wanted you to prepare. ഒന്നുമില്ല. Just record yourself speaking on some topic. Of choosing any of the topics which were discussed in the and I'll probably you can send the video to the group, no problem. Okay, this, commonly everybody can access. Okay, no problem there. And it's also, this is also part of what is called peer learning. നിങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വീഡിയോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ എഴുതിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ആൻസർ ideally this must be looked at by your peers, classmates. നല്ലതാണത്. Okay, you can take tips from your classmates. Ultimately it will help you. Srishma's question is relevant. She asked whether the video should be sent to the group as well. നല്ലതാണ്. If you have any problems, if you are hesitant to send it to the group, you can send it directly to me. I'm not insisting, but it's always good. I think I told you last time, for your seniors, okay, super seniors, I conducted a small test. They had to speak, they had to take a class, virtual class. Munnil students undu ennu sankalpichittu they had to take a virtual class for about 7 minutes. That's what I did. And they send me their videos. Okay. Probably I can send you a video. Okay, but I can't. Let me find out whether I have the video with me. Okay, so it's a choice. You can send your video directly to me. If it is accessible to your peers, they can have an idea about it. Okay, any course which is offered here, നിങ്ങൾ തമ്മിൽ ഒരു കോമ്പറ്റീഷനോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആർക്കാണ് കൂടുതൽ മാർക്ക് കിട്ടുക എന്നല്ല. Everybody has something to get. Everybody has something to do. It's a collective work. അതിന്റെ ഗുണം എല്ലാവർക്കും കിട്ടുക എന്നല്ല. Okay, so if one of you performs a little better than others, it doesn't mean. Okay, here's a question from Reshma. That there is some problem with video recording. Okay, so I think I can give you some tips. If you have an ordinary smartphone, sometimes you have a problem recording videos. Okay, in that case you can send an audio, no problem. You can record an audio. പ്രശ്നമില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഇത് പഠിക്കേണ്ടതാണ് over a period of time. ഇപ്പോൾ for the time being you can send an audio, as Reshma suggested. You can send an audio, no problem. The thing is to find out whether to get to the grip of get to the bottom of a topic. അത് നിങ്ങൾ എത്രത്തോളം മനസ്സിലാക്കി എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അത്രയേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഓഡിയോ അയക്കാം. പക്ഷെ ഇതൊക്കെ പഠിക്കുന്നതാണ്. You can also learn how to record a video. നല്ലതാണ്. Because at least some of you are going into teaching. Probably some of you are going into the media. അപ്പൊ ഇതൊരു നല്ല ഉപകാരപ്രദമായ ഒരു സ്കില്ലാണ്. When you come to the third sem, if you happen to take translation for the media, which is in the third sem, probably I can give you more instructions on this. എന്താണ് ഇതിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക എന്നുള്ളതിനെ പറ്റി കൂടുതൽ പഠിക്കാം. ട്രാൻസ്ലേറ്റിംഗ് ഫോർ ദ മീഡിയ, ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇതുപോലെ റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് പോലത്തെ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. വീഡിയോ റെക്കോർഡിംഗ്, നത്തിങ് വെരി ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് പഠിച്ചു വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് യു ഹാവ് പ്രോബ്ലംസ് വിത്ത് ഗെറ്റിംഗ് എ വീഡിയോ ഓൺ യുവർ മൊബൈൽ or whatever instrument you use, you can send an audio. Sending an audio is very easy, and most smartphones give you very clear audios. Okay, fine. Anything else? Okay. If there isn't anything more to discuss, I'll wind up this class. So, thank you very much. Okay. Next week, probably we can move on. Meanwhile, try to look at those videos I sent you. I also sent you a book. Okay. And now that you have some idea about how, I have sent you I will send you the previous year's question paper. So you have some idea what kind of questions to expect. But more than that, this is actually a stepping stone to your third sem paper course on linguistics. അതിലേക്കാണ് ഇത് എത്തുന്നത് വാസ്തവത്തിൽ. Okay, so I hope this will be useful that way too. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.